All righty. What up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome into a live version of the Fitz Take podcast. I'm your guy, Jamarcus Fitzpatrick, but you can always call me Fitz. He's your guy, Elijah Nixon. And man, do we have a show in store for you guys. College football season is ramping up like crazy, and a lot of excitement has happened. We got some upsets that have happened. We got an upset, a butt whooping that's happening on TV right now that we'll talk about in just a second. Elijah, I mean, just how great has this college football Saturday been so far?
Oh, I love it. I mean, just proved the point that everybody's on the even playing field. Everybody can beat everybody on any given Saturday or Sunday, any given Saturday or Friday, wherever they play nowadays. So I like it, man. It's really interesting to seeing how this thing shape up. I can't wait to see how it finish and the outcome because I think this is the longest college football season ever, and so far it hasn't disappointed me yet.
Absolutely. And I wanted to get Elijah's live reaction to this because he didn't know yet. But thank y'all so much for on YouTube. We've reached 71 subscribers. If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, it is pinned at the top of the chat. But all 71 of y'all that have tapped in with us, that have locked in with us, we truly appreciate that. If you're following us through the Facebook Live, we are soliciting you to subscribe to the channel as well. Braden Broussard, a great win today for the Cajuns. Absolutely, it was a great win. And that's what we're actually about to hop into right now. The Louisiana Ragin Cajuns, they go in and they upset the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Had to face a lot of adversity to get that victory. 4 guys were ejected because of targeting calls. A few of them I feel like was pretty bogus. Other ones, were very much subjective. So it's at the discretion of the referee. And, when you're wearing the white hat and the stripes, you got to put up with it, man. But all around, it was an impressive win. No doubt about it. Louisiana is shouting from the rooftops. They said they walked in your trap and took over your trap. So they were super excited about that win. Elijah, what's your take on it, brother?
Man, it was amazing. I mean, of course, you got some good and you got some bad, but I'm going to start with the good. The Cajuns played so well today. Offensively, especially with Ben Woolridge under center. I mean, they've been playing well with him under center, every game since the season has kicked off. But today, it looked like he was really poised. With every throw every shot he took, with every throw he had, the running backs looked really good. Elijah Bill Davis. Good things happen when your name is Elijah. So Elijah Bill Davis, I know he joked a week ago when he got caught on a long run against Tulane, and he got caught again today. I know he joked about it, but at the end of the day, it's still setting up great field position for the Cajuns to capitalize, whether if it's a play action or if he can finish the run or Ben Woolridge can finish the run. So, again, it just sets them up to, score. So the Cajuns look really, really good. I know they lost to Tulane a week before, but, again, that was a winnable game for them. Wake Forest. A lot of people will count them out again because, again, that's an ACC school versus a Sun Belt school, which we don't think sometimes will be on an even playing field. They come out there and they handle business. Offensively, they're clicking. Defensively, I mean, we'll get to that in a second, but I just want to say that, this can be a momentum thing for them as they start to roll into the Sun Belt. Who knows? Maybe they can host. I know they have James Madison in that conference who just put 70 points on North Carolina, another ACC school.
And they put up 62 today too.
Yeah. So again, you got to see how it is, but the Cajuns look good, man. They look really, really good on that football field.
Yeah, you look at things offensively. The Cajuns were clicking on all cylinders. They scored 41 points. Quarterback Ben Woolridge goes 20 of 29, 257 yards, 3 touchdowns. Like you said, Elijah Bill Davis, 13 carries, 95 yards, and that touchdown. Zylan Perry getting in the mix as well, 11 carries, 78 yards. Ben Woolridge showing that he can get outside of the pocket and can use his legs when need be. He had 34 yards rushing. But I think the person that's really getting not necessarily lost in the mix, but that we're almost overlooking or not talking about enough is Lance Lejeune. You talk about a breakout game. 6 catches, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns. All of them were career best, according to Matt Sullivan. Shout out to Sully, the SID there at UL. I mean, he came out and did what he needed to do, stepping up as a receiver. Like I've said before, and I want to take the moment to say, a lot of people were, when I talked about, UL receivers getting a lot of passes here and there outside of the I think it was during the Grambling game, and people were like, oh man, when they do it against some real competition, that's when it will matter. Well, here you go. They did it against some real competition. Wake Forest is an ACC program. I seen on Twitter that they paid the Cajuns $800,000 to come out there and get served up a hot ale. But when you look at it, Lance Lejeune was phenomenal. He was able to get open for Ben. He was able to catch the passes that were thrown to him. And he was just flat out able to make the plays that he needed to. And when you can have a receiver that can do that on any given night, against Grambling, it was kind of Harvey's night. Another game, it could be Jacob Bernard. Another game, it could be Tavion Smith. Tonight, today, whatever you want to call it, it was all about Lance Lejeune. So big ups to that brother for stepping up. He talked about in post game, which we'll hear that in a second. He talked about how long of a journey it had been to get to this point, to have the opportunity to come up big in that moment was huge for him. So really, really happy for that guy. But when you look at the refereeing of this game, man, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen that many targeting calls in a single game, that many players ejected in a single game on one side of the ball. I don't think I've ever seen that, bro. Have you?
No. I have never seen that many targeted. I know he can't say it in a presser, but Coach Desimo has a reason to be upset. I thought some of those things was tick-tack. Some of those things were, great plays. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes football players are not heads up and just want to – they're not looking to, end your life on the football field. I mean, it's just the physicality of the game. But they're coming in and they don't have their head up. They're leading with their shoulder pad. I know sometimes it's going to lead with a hitting somebody in the head, or it may lead to something like that. And, it's accidental. I don't think anybody do that purposely. But for the referees looking at it, I think some things were just blown out of proportion. Other things, I don't think so, but I think some of them were blown out of proportion. But again, man, Mike Desimo has a reason to be upset about some of those calls, because I was upset about some of them, ejecting some of these guys. But again, at the end of the day, man, the referees got a job to do. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. But great coaches, adjusted. Desimo did a great job of adjusting and still pulling out a victory. So again, I'd still take my hat off to him and about some of the stuff that went down today, because it was a lot on Desimo. Not just play calling wise, but actually managing the game of how it was flowing. And I think he did a really good job against this Wake Forest team.
Absolutely. And I mean, you even look at that final drive where Kenny Almendarez kicks the field goal to put them ahead. He had to manage that. He had a great play call. I believe it was on 3rd and 9, and they get crammed all the way down there in the box. Everybody stacked up. They look like they about to run it, and he runs a bootleg with Ben Woolridge, and he almost gets the first down. You know what I'm saying? Like, just calling plays like that, managing the games and putting yourself in a situation. The meme has been out there now. Coach Dez got his hands on his knees like the Popeyes worker when the chicken sandwiches at first came out. But it was an emotional game for him. It was truly emotional. He was emotional in the post-game press conference, just talking about how proud he was of these guys because of how hard they've worked for a moment like this. And when they get chances that normally the ball doesn't bounce their way, and it literally did right off the left upright of the field goal post, Wake Forest's kicker misses the field goal for them to have an opportunity to tie the game up and to go into overtime. So it was just a phenomenal showing by the team. The defense had to overcome a lot. You're going against an offense that's, kind of able to score a lot on you, and then you're doing it without your starting inside linebacker, and then your starting safety, and then another guy goes out, and then another guy. Like, you're just fighting against all these things. UL had 8 penalties for 83 yards, and this team is by no stretch an undisciplined team. Like, they don't get a lot of penalties called on them. So this was something that they had to fight against. But, Coach Dez had a great quote after the game. He said that, sometimes in life, you have to face adversity and you have to be able to battle back from it. And the team was definitely able to do that. They were very efficient in the way that they were able to run their offense. The defense was able to get a turnover there. Tyree Skipper getting the interception that he needed. I ultimately think that's what put them over the top to have that final position and be ahead. So the Cajuns get that 3-point victory. Very, very, very important for them to get that victory after coming off of that loss to Tulane. So the game was over and they had the post-game press conference. So, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to play it out in its entirety. We'll talk a little bit about some of the comments that were made from coach and players. We have coach, 3 players, so it's about 20 minutes worth of sound that we'll play out in its entirety. So you guys just hang out with us there. If you're here on the live stream, we thank y'all for tapping in. If you're on YouTube and you're not a subscriber, hit the bell for us. We would greatly appreciate that. If you're on Facebook and you're not a subscriber, we would also appreciate that. So let's go ahead and pull up this sound for you guys. See if I can get it. This is all happening in real time, and we will play it out in its entirety for you.
Try this again. All right, we'll get started here real quick. We got head coach Mike Desermo. We'll have Ben Woolridge, Lance Lejean, and Tyree Skipper coming up for post game. So, Coach, let's start us off with an opening statement. We'll go ahead and we'll take questions from media, and then we'll take it from Zoom.
All right, it's it's hard to win these games on the road. You certainly have to come in here with the right type of mindset, and that's all we talked about all week was what it was going to take for us to win. I felt like we had a better team coming into it. At the end of the day, all I can say is that line.
How did y'all get through, maintain your composure before ejections, the rushing the passer? I mean, how did you and your team get through that?
Well, we talk about adversity a lot, and I told them Friday before we left, the thing about life is once you understand that there's going to be adversity and there's going to be hardship, you just understand it's coming and you just know to handle it whenever it comes. And you got to learn how to handle it and deal with it. Today was tough. There was a lot of adversity, a lot of frustration. But a lot of it's self-inflicted. And those are things, we don't teach some of that stuff, and we didn't play with enough discipline in the middle part of the game. Shouldn't have come down to a field goal attempt, no matter how you feel about the calls or whatever. There's a lot of things we could have done to avoid some of them. And that's where we as coaches have to go back and coach it. We can sit here and blame all day, or we can try to fix the issues so that we get it fixed so this doesn't happen. You're not going to survive every week like this. And we got to do a better job of not hurting ourselves in some of those situations.
Did you think maybe 2 of them were legit? And I thought the last one was awful, but what about the others?
Yeah, I thought some of them were. I thought T-Luz was. I think it's hard. I get the spirit of the rule, and everybody's for players say it's hard when the guys go down, but that's the rule. So some of them were, some of them are hard to swallow. I don't know how it turns into that. Look, I get it. They review it and they do what they got to do. Some of it was a little frustrating with the lack of calls maybe that we got to. I don't know what it was. They were
4 for 23.
Yeah, I think it's absurd. So, it is what it is. We'll send our plays in and they'll say what they say, and we just got to move on. But I was proud of our guys for keeping their composure and finding a way to do enough to win in the end.
Same time, special teams. You get a kickoff return. Kenny was great. The coverage was great. Special teams played a huge role in this.
Well, we challenged them. Last week we had a really bad play on special teams. Really, our punt wasn't very clean operation, and we said that's not our standard. It's not the way we do it, and we were going to need all 3 phases today to play really well, and all 3 phases played well in spots. I think defensively, there's a lot of things we got to do to get back to work, and we'll see it on the tape. But the biggest thing is just the penalties. That's how they sustained, I'd say probably half of their drives. So we got to avoid those penalties in those situations.
What about Lance Lejean? I guess you could say, yeah, but this was really his coming up point.
Yeah, well, you and I spoke this week about Lance and how he was playing, and how he figures to be a bigger part of our offense week in and week out as long as he continues to do things the way he is. And the guy's worked really hard. He's just kept his mouth shut and worked every day to perfect his craft and to become a better football player. And today we were able to design some things for him to get him the ball in critical situations. Some of them, he just made some really good plays. And, you know, I believe that guys, I believe you earn opportunity. And, you know, I'm not perfect. I'm as far from perfect as anyone can be. You know, we've got guys that have made mistakes. We got guys that have gotten here day one and done it right the whole way through. And we got some guys that had to figure it out. But he's the type of guy that, you know, he's really just worked hard to redeem himself, and he's worked hard to matter to this team. He's worked hard to show us that the team matters to him. And you couldn't be happier for a guy like that who has success, who's been through so much.
The job that Woolridge did, I thought he was just fabulous for it.
You don't win these games without great quarterback play. And he played great for us today. Took care of the football, stood in there, took hits, ran when he needed to, was incredibly efficient, made really good decisions in the run game. And, you know, you don't come on the road and win a game like this against a good team if you don't have great quarterback play. And we got it tonight, and he's played that way really for us all year.
In addition to the frustration, you lost the first two that were ejected, your two leading tacklers, your two leaders on defense. And then Nagu was playing great, I thought. So, I mean, how did y'all just sustain from just a depth standpoint? I mean, not just, you know, that frustration.
Well, we practice the way we do for a reason, you know, I mean, and we do that from off-season workouts all the way through spring ball and fall camp. And, you know, KC was a little bit easier because we kind of worked a contingency plan all week in case he couldn't play the whole game. So we had worked that. That was a little easier. You know, when Caleb Edwards got ejected, that was a challenge because he was figured in that mix. You know, we have a 3-man rotation for the most part at safety that we play. And, you know, when T. Lou goes out, that one hurts a lot because he's a communicator back there. And really you kind of lose a man in the rotation that we feel like's ready to play. So it was tough, but I mean, you know, I mean, it is what it is. You know, I mean, when those things happen, you just have to move on and you got to keep going. And, you know, our guys were able to do that, find a way to win.
How important was this? When that ball bounced off the upright, like how important was this one for you and the program?
In the last 2 years, sorry. In the last 2 years, it just seems like nothing bounced our way. Just seemed like everything just flipped around the other way. And these guys and this staff, all they did was just keep working. They kept their nose to the grind. They believed in what we said. You know, our whole team came back last year because they believed what was in front of us this year. And, you know, it just feels like, you know, I just believe when things don't go your way, the only thing you do is work harder. And it's hard to do when things aren't going your way. And this team just did it. And so to me, it was so rewarding to see their work pay off because I know how hard this team's worked. And I'm just happy for them. I really am.
All right, any questions from the media?
Coach, I hear a little bit of emotion in your voice there. If I can ask, where does that feeling come from, that sense of pride in being able to get a win like this, and why do you feel emotional right now?
It's the same reasons I just said. I mean, it's for 2 years, it just seemed like nothing would go our way. And, you know, you just tell guys, man, you just got to believe, you got to trust, you got to, you know, continue to work with a purpose that's bigger than where you are right now. And it's not easy to do. I mean, for young people especially, everyone tells them when it doesn't go your way, man, you just bail ship, you just jump out of there, you just go move on, go find another spot. And this team didn't do that. You know, they stayed and they believed in what we were doing. So no one understands the way these guys work. Unless if you're in our building every day and you see it every day, no one understands. So I just know that hard work pays off, and to see it happen for them just felt good.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, all right, thank you. We'll have players coming here in a minute. We'll take stuff from the media, and then we'll try to make this pretty quick.
Well, first of all, to have a breakout game like you did in an upset on the road at Wake Forest, I mean, what does that mean to you after everything you've been through?
Oh man, it's a humbling experience. Got the opportunity to rejoin the team, figure out where I can help this team at. and it was just an awesome day for the whole team.
So did you sense that in practice this week that you were gonna be a bigger part of what was going on offense?
Yeah, just based on the defensive scheme and how they come out with the two shell quarters look. Obviously, I'm in the slot. We got some plays that work around that coverage, and we was able to execute today.
What was it like just during the game? I mean, big play after big play, and the offense came up, touchdown. Like what was it like? You practice for that stuff.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Just having fun with it, man. You know, coach said it all week. Believe in what you do, believe in your fundamentals, and believe in the execution. And I just felt like we just came out and did it all today.
How did you get that wide open on the one in the third quarter? What happened there?
Just man to man, having confidence in myself, knowing I could beat the guy.
So what could this do for y'all as a team, but also for you individually within this offense moving forward?
This is the bad taste out of our mouth. Obviously, last week it wasn't a good finish to the game. We spoke about it all week about getting that bad taste out of our mouth. I think it's a good win for us moving forward.
What was going through your mind and your teammates' minds as they're ejecting players left and right? You had 4 guys ejected, they're falling rough in the passer. It just seemed like things weren't going your way there. Like, how did y'all keep y'all composure through all that?
Yeah, man. It's refs gonna call what they call. We only can control what we can control. So that's pretty much it. When they put the ball down, we only control what we can control.
Talk about the connection you and Ben had in this game.
Oh yeah, man. Me and Ben spent countless hours in the indoor by ourselves, having our own time, just building that chemistry, and it carried over to the field today.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Very happy
Okay.
for you.
All right, any questions from media?
I got just one. Lance, when you look at, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Lance, when you just look at, your entire journey throughout college, man, getting here now and having a career day, just how did that feel for you to be able to do that?
I'm happy, man. I'm happy. I'm excited. It was a long journey, obviously, last year, and I'm just excited to be back part of the team, and any way I can help the team, man. That's what I'm gonna do this year.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thanks, man.
All right. Got Tyree Skipper, 5 tackles, 4-quarter interception leading to a touchdown. Start with questions here, and then we'll take questions from Zoom.
Well, first let's talk about the interception. Something bad had just happened. They got the ball. When you see that ball tip, your heart's got to start beating fast. Just tell me about that play.
Man, about the interception, man. I want to shout out to the D line, man, because they get in the quarterback face, making it tough on him to throw. And the linebacker, man, he dropped in the right spot. So the receiver had some pressure on him, and once I seen that ball go up, man, I just pictured my little niece was falling, man. So I just looked it all the way in, man.
So Tyrone Lewis goes out. He's like the leader of the secondary. Then Casey goes out, or Casey. And so, how did y'all get it? I mean, y'all were missing some key pieces. How did y'all kind of keep it together there? What were y'all talking about there?
I mean, we just got to keep our composure, man. 2 key players went down, man. It's just next man up mentality, man. We have numbers, so it's just next man up. And the players that's behind those 2, they get those reps in practice, and they're ready to go, man. That's all. Control, we control.
So was it hard to be aggressive when they were throwing y'all out left and right?
It was, but we just got to go back to our fundamentals, man. We know targeting is a big call in today's game, so we just got to be smart. We know how to tackle. We do targeting tackles. We do non-targeting tackles in practice, so we'll get that fixed.
So what did this mean to y'all as a team? Y'all were close last year, and it just never seemed to happen in the big games. Y'all played well against a good Tulane team last week. It didn't happen. When that ball came off the upright and they missed the field goal and y'all won, what did that mean, and what was going through your head?
Hey, man, when I seen that ball come off the upright, I just like, dang, that's everything we worked for. And as you seen on the sideline, man, everybody got excited, man. Everybody was excited. So that's just everything we worked for, man. You just got to believe in God. And I had some belief in him today.
All right, any questions from Zoom? Okay, all right, thank you. We'll wrap up here with Ben. All right, we've got Ben Woolridge. Tonight, 20 of 29, 257 yards, 3 touchdowns. Also rushed for 1. We'll take questions here from media and then we'll open it up for Zoom.
Well, first of all, what an incredible performance by you and the offense. I mean, did y'all feel coming in that this was possible with y'all just?
Yeah, no, we had a great week of preparation. I think our confidence as an offense, like we understand who we are and what we can be and what we are. And coming into this game, it was about us. And like we knew we could execute, we knew we could run the ball against them, and we knew we could throw the ball on them, and the way their defense was set up and the guys we have as an offense.
Lance, to see him have a big game like that, I'm sure y'all been putting a lot of work into that. Just talk about what that means.
No, Lance, dude, he's awesome. He comes to work every day with the right mentality. I mean, the countless conversations we've had since we both got here, right? And then also the countless conversations we've had since he went to receiver. Kind of like it's kind of something that comes to life on a night like this, and it's freaking special, and it's awesome to see.
There was a time early on, the defense was playing well. They started ejecting players left and right, and it looked like it was going to be a shootout. Do you have time to think that, man, there's pressure on the offense? Y'all have to keep delivering. Talk about that as the leader of the offense.
Well, I think Coach Des says it all the time. Like, we don't feel pressure. Like, as an offense, we apply the pressure to teams. So we go out there, execute one play at a time, with great focus, great attention to detail, and get results like tonight.
So what about Jax came back? And I can't tell from the press box, but it sure seemed like he played really well and made a difference. Like, y'all were getting some big runs up in there.
Oh, for sure.
Just notice the difference, how well he played.
100%. And I mean, hats off to Jax, dude. He's worked his butt off, right? Had a little minor setback at the beginning of the season, right after the first game, and just with God on his side and doing everything right every single day, he was able to come back, and he helped us tremendously today.
What does this mean for you and the team? This win, when you saw the ball go upright, what went through your mind?
Oh, it was, shoot, I don't even know what I was thinking. I was just thinking celebrate, right? Go over, find Coach Des, man, give him a big hug. The countless hours he puts in, the countless hours the staff puts in, like, it's for moments like this. But this is just the kickstart. This is just the start of something special. And I think as an offense and as a team, we realize that, and it's going to carry into the conference play.
As a leader of the team, what were you telling people as 4 guys are getting ejected? I don't know if I've ever seen that in.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything we can say, right? Like that's pretty incredible. I've never seen, I've barely seen like 2 guys get ejected. So for 4 guys to get ejected, it's kind of crazy. But I mean, it's just something. It's like playing one play at a time, right? When things go bad, move on to the next play. When things go good, move on to the next play. And I think as a team, we've taken that step, right? The maturity of the team is like, it's night and day difference from last year to this year, and you can see it every time we step on the field.
What did this mean for you?
I think it means everything for the team, right? Like this is a big team win, and like I said before, it's going to kickstart our season.
For you, y'all just seem to have a rhythm from the very beginning of the game with you and Harvey. Was this like y'all took some steps, but it seemed like this was the big step in your passing game?
Yeah, for sure. And like I said before, they had a good defense, right? Their linebackers were really good. Secondary was really good. They had a big, like, physical D line. And I think as an offense, we understood that if we did our job day in and day out throughout the week, and then got here on Saturday and did our job every play, we're going to have a successful night.
All right, any questions from Zoom?
Ben, when you just look at the way all season long, like, the offense has scored 30 points or more every game, just do you feel like you guys are really catching into your stride now, are able to continue to build on that?
Wait, sorry, I didn't hear the first part.
I was saying, like, every game this season, the offense has scored 30 points or more. So, like, do you guys really feel like you're catching your stride right now?
Yeah, I mean, as an offense, we feel confident. And I think we should feel confident, right? With the guys and the playmakers we have, and then with the O-line we have, it's kind of something that we've all worked for, right? Like it's we got a group of guys that have the right mentality day in and day out. And I think our goals every time we come in on Sunday after a game like today, right? And you meet your goals or the goals that you don't meet, it kind of pisses you off for the next week. So it everything motivates you and everything motivates us as an offense to get back to work and work.
Okay, all right, thank you. See
Thank
y'all on Monday.
Oh, hold up. Yeah, there we go. I'll mute our mics. Got to do that first. A lot to intake there. Miss, is it Lucretia? I don't want to pronounce your name wrong. Jamarcus and Elijah, best ever. Thank you. We appreciate that so much. Thank you for tapping in with us.
Thanks, Mom. That's Landon, Mom.
It is?
Yeah, thanks, Mom.
Oh, thank you. I forgot about that. I mean, the main headline out of this was Coach Adairs getting choked up, man. Like, I was not expecting that at all because he's a fiery guy because of how he feels about this area. This is his hometown team. This is his alma mater. He's coaching his team. But I was not expecting him to get choked up after that game. So just to see, how passionate he felt about this win, to see what this moment meant for him and his team was just like outstanding. And then I doubled down on it. When I see emotional moments, I double down on it. Why you crying, Coach? What brings about the emotion? Like, we gotta, what I'm saying? We gotta figure it out. We gotta dig deep into it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, that was very big. Him being able to be that vulnerable to talk about that and say, like, like, this means a lot. This is very, very big for us as a program, as a team. What did you think about it, E?
I think it's big, man, especially coming from what we just talked about with Desimo. We talked about him and what he got going on. I think that, finishing 6 and 7, 2 years in a row, I think that's something weighs on you heavy because you have a talented team, and Desimo definitely feels he's one of the most talented coaches out there, and he's confident in his abilities. And this year, play calling wise, he has done a phenomenal job. Like you just said, 30 points in every contest that they played in. Tulane, they was right in the midst of it. They beat Wake Forest today. They're about to head into conference play starting next week, and these guys are much confident. Now, the only thing that we didn't talk about too much that's not on the stat sheet is just tackling, bringing the guy down. Now, obviously, if you put me out there, will I bring the guy down? Absolutely not. But for these guys that's been training, prepping throughout the summer, throughout fall camp, everything to get this stuff going, they have the thing that's going to put the Cajuns to the next level is getting stops and bringing the guy down, because running the football, it's like they're struggling with that. There was one time, I think it was like a 3rd and 3 at the goal line where they had him, and he still, and then the running back still spins off of Wake Forest. He still spins off and gets a first down and close to a touchdown on that drive. It was late in the ball game from what I remember in the 4th quarter. So again, it's just grabbing these guys, getting to the ground, getting off the grass, giving your offense another chance to go out there and put some more points on the board, because when that lead increases, running the ball shouldn't be an option for the other team after a while, because the offense could prove that the Cajuns could score time and time again. With them doing that, I think it will just pin their ears back for the defense and just go get the quarterback, because they're not going to run the ball. You're not running the ball to get back in a 14-0 game, a 21-0 game. You have to actually throw the ball now. So again, that's what I think they have to do. Just get off the grass, make early stops, get the momentum rolling on the defensive end, and boom. I think this Cajun team can actually, sky's the limit, right? They told us in the offseason they could win the Sun Belt. I think they can host the Sun Belt Championship at Cajun Field or Our Lady of the Lord Stadium now. So I just want to see these guys reach their full potential, and I think Desimo have them going in the right track.
No, man, you hit the nail on the head. When it comes to the defense and the run game, the main thing this is going to be the fallout from the Tulane game, which is an unfortunate thing for them, but it's kind of putting a target on their back from here on out, because now offenses know coming in, if this team can't stop the run, then we're going to run the football. You know, Wake Forest rushed for, 218 yards. 4 of their touchdowns were on the ground. So that says something. You know, obviously the defense had to overcome a lot because of what they were, dealing with guys being ejected and the targeting calls and all that stuff like that. But like Coach Dez said after the Tulane game, that is on film now. And so I feel like if the defense can stop the run, if they can continue to set the tone at the line of scrimmage, which, outside of the Damon Claiborne guy for Wake Forest, he had a 60-yard run. Outside of him breaking that 60-yard run, they were doing pretty well, but it's just consistently being able to hold that off. Like, I know you can't stop every single run play, but I think that probably would be one of the only holes about this team right now that could potentially come up as a problem for them later down the line, especially when you face even more high-powered offenses. You brought up James Madison. You don't have them on your regular season schedule, but if you play well enough, you're going to see them in the Sun Belt Championship. And them boys are cooking with fish grease right now. 70 the week before, and I think they scored 62 today against whoever they played. So you look at those aspects, that's one of the things that you're going to have to get cleaned up for sure. But it was a humongous win. And, I asked Ben Woolridge about how did he feel the offense was clicking? Like, were they catching and running into their stride at the right time? And he said, yeah, they come in. He also mentioned about how, like, they never feel like it's any pressure on them, that they want to be the ones applying pressure. So for you, Elijah, like, what do you think? Is there a next step for this offense, or is it now just kind of going into not necessarily autopilot mode, but going into, all right, guys, we got to stick to our guns of this is what we do, setting up the run, which creates the play action pass, and we can take our shots down the field?
No, I think they're on the right track with doing everything. The only thing that I want to see this offense continue to do is run the football, as efficiently as they can. I think they're getting creative, just like how we were talking about with Ben Woolridge on that third down play when, before they kick the field goal to take the lead in the final seconds. Him doing a bootleg. They're doing a great job with that. Now, with that being said, honestly, they've been clicking on one accord. It's going to be days where it's going to not seem like that. I want this offense to continue to stay together because what they're doing is well. Like we just seen with Lance, he can have a day. Harvey can have a day, like you said. Bernard can have a day. Bill Davis can have a day. Perry can have a day. Draylon can have a day. But the one thing that we really don't give enough credit to is his offensive line, because they've been playing the same way from start to finish so far. So if there's another level they can get to, I think that it will just show through adversity, because they showed that they could play consistently. They showed that they could play well. They showed they could put up points. They showed that they could time manage, what they did today. They showed every aspect. Now, the only thing that you want to see now is an adversity of how to fight and continue to fight. We've seen that a little bit with Tulane, but I'm talking about, like, throughout the whole game. What can they do after they, say if someone drop a critical third down pass? What can they do to keep each other up? That's the next step, because they show everything. They showed everything already. And one thing that I really like is that we talked about it since game one is how aggressive they are, taking shots down the field. These guys are playing well, man. They're playing as well as any team in the Sun Belt Conference or any team in the country, as you could say. So I just can't wait to see what happens when they get into the meat and potatoes of this conference and how well they play. Because, again, the deeper side of the ball is the one that's struggling right now. But if they could pick that up and play complementary football, I think this team could be one of those teams that we could see or probably be talking about at the end of the year, saying they could be in the playoff. So we'll see what happens with the Cajuns.
Yeah, no doubt. The meat and potatoes, ham, turkey, cheese, lettuce, tomato, all of that good stuff of the season and conference starts next week for the Cajuns, as they will face off with the Southern Miss Golden Eagles. That game is set for 6 o'clock. The Cajuns will be on the road. Southern Miss is currently 1-3 on the season, but when you get into conference play, that's the second part of your season. You start off your non-conference slate 3-1, which is amazing. Excuse me. You wish you would have been able to go 4-0. But to be able to come out of that, with those victories is important. You go in and you beat an ACC program, which, by the way, is their first ACC victory in program history. You go in and you get that one. But then you also come out and you establish the fact that your offense can play extremely well. You come in and establish that you can go in and win the tough ball games. You can overcome adversity. Now you got to go and replicate that again, like you said, in conference play. So the Cajuns get the victory over Wake Forest 41-38. Next week they'll play off with Southern Miss. From there down the slate, it will be App State, Coastal Carolina, who's 3-1, Texas State, who was beat by Sam Houston State earlier today. They got them after that. And it's Arkansas State, South Al, who lost to LSU. That's what we're about to talk about in a second. Troy, and then they round off the season against ULM, who also has a 3-1 record on the year. So congratulations to Louisiana picking up that victory, advancing to 3-1 on the season in those regards. So as we move forward, LSU beats South Alabama 42-10. In my opinion, this is not a surprise because that's what you're supposed to do. A lot of people, the talks were, how do you stop this South Alabama offense? And it's like, you be LSU. You be the team that you're supposed to be in this situation. You're the Power 4 team. Now, I know we just got through talking about, a G5 team beating a Power 4 team and UL beating Wake Forest. But as LSU, you are one of the biggest brands in the country. You are supposed to win that ball game. You're supposed to win it in the fashion that you did. Now, of course, South Alabama had their moments, where they sprinkled in some plays and they had some good offensive moments. But ultimately, you are supposed to win this game 42-10. There's no question, no doubt about it. For you, Elijah, and the pieces that we saw out of this game, what was something that you were impressed with the most?
Oh, that running back. Yeah. Durham is that man. First play of the game. Come out, swing pass. He takes it to the house. South Alabama thinks he's going to run out of bounds. What I really did like about Durham, he didn't run out of bounds. He said, I'm going to keep going. And they were surprised by that, and he just takes it to the house. I didn't think I need to watch it anymore. I'm not going to lie. I said, hey, after he took that to the house, I said, I don't need to watch this. I do not need to watch this. We know what's about to happen. But he played well. 7 carries, 128 yards and a touchdown. Second leading receiver in yards today. And I think catches. Let me look at that one more time. I think catches as well.
No, he had 3. So he was tied for third.
89 yards and a tug. The touchdown we were just talking about recently. He's the playmaker. He's there. Now, the only thing I did not like in this ball game, to be honest with you, is why is Nussmeier throwing the ball 39 times against South Alabama? I don't understand what we're doing here. If he's trying to win the Heisman, you're trying to put him up for a Heisman candidate. I don't get that. But other than that, I think LSU played well. Defensively, they did a great job, in my eyes, of stopping the run, which sometimes they would be iffy on. They did a great job of stopping the pass as well. Especially with her. This is her first game without Harold Perkins in the full game after he tears his ACL a week ago. But they look pretty good. I know it's South Alabama, but at the same time, it's just filling the gaps, playing your keys, and just playing the game in the right way. They played it in the right way. I know they played nickels earlier in the year. It did not look good. But today against South Alabama, they look like an LSU team that can compete. I'm not going to say an LSU team that can win a championship, but an LSU team that can compete. And again, I just feel like they should play more through Durham because that man is balling lately. Against South Alabama, against South Carolina, against anybody in that Southeastern Conference, I think you could put him up against anybody. So I think that he's doing a great job, and I think that's what they should play off of. And I think that's what Brian Kelly is seeing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Caden Durham was phenomenal. He came out and he basically did what you're supposed to do. He said, we want to get a fast start. This is fast of a start as you're going to get. I'm going to do this one hit a quitter. You know what I'm saying? That's how it's supposed to be. He did leave the game with a lower leg injury. I think it was his ankle. And they held him out of the game from there on out, which I'm with that, because Gary Nussmeier, I think, was playing deep into the third quarter, if not at the start of the fourth. And like you said, the 39 passes, Why do you do it? It could be for Heisman candidacy because he also had 409 yards, which was a career best. But in that same regards, he throws 2 picks. Brian Kelly was not pleased with that. But it's something that you have to get used to and be accustomed to playing full games. You kind of get a lot of your fluff games out of the way early on. But maybe Brian Kelly feels like, we need to keep these guys in here a little bit longer so they can learn how to play through a whole football game. And then once we get a lead and, sustain it, then we can start getting in some reserve guys to get them some burn as well. But like you said, offensively, very similar to the Cajuns, these guys are going to come out and fire on all cylinders. The main objective now is just to make sure that the defense is playing phenomenal as well. And that's, going to be something that is going to be a little bit harder because Harold Perkins is not in the lineup. But I think as they continue to gel along the way, they could possibly be able to figure that out. I think Garrett Nussmeier is continuing to find his groove as the starting quarterback of LSU. We talked about how this offense is going to look completely different. It's not Jaden Daniels out there running the zone reads, pulling it and running it for 80 yards. This is a guy that wants to throw it 80 yards down the field rather than running it. He did have a rushing touchdown and hit the Dougie, but his runs are going to be minimal and they're going to be short, and rightfully so because he is a gunslinger. We actually have some post-game sound. WBRZ was live streaming Brian Kelly's post-game press conference, so I'm going to share the screen, and we're going to tap into that. Let's get this up for you guys so y'all can see it, and let's listen in. Okay.
Pleased with the guys, the effort tonight. They're just, the whole mindset of coming in here to Tiger Stadium and playing the kind of football that you want to play, as the season begins to take shape into an SEC schedule. Clearly, offensively, we did some great things tonight, running the football, throwing it over 667 yards. You can characterize it any way you want, but, Nussmeier, the receivers, Durham, all of those guys were, high performers tonight. And, I thought, defensively, other than the one drive in the third quarter, I thought we did some really good things defensively. We got to tighten up a couple of things here and there, but, by and large, that's a difficult offense to defend. They do a really good job. They're well coached. They're a top 15 offense in the country. So, there were some challenges there that I think our guys responded to. Bottom line is we've gotten better over the last 5 weeks, and that's what we needed to be going into this off week as we get ready for an SEC schedule. So that will open up for questions.
Ryan Cajuns not playing in the second half. What's he dealing with?
But we don't see it as being anything that's a major injury.
And then what did he do so well just to start the game there with those 2 touches?
Ran fast. You set me up for it, so.
Coach, just the start of your defense, they came in with a red-hot offense. I think they only had 1 field goal the first 7 times they got their hands on the ball. So just the start of your team.
I thought a couple of things. First of all, the backers played well. Penn and Weeks, that combination, they're very active. Their assignments, they were all over it. There's a lot of misdirection there. They got us on a couple of plays early on with some plays we hadn't seen before with some misdirection. They have really good schemes, and we had to settle down. But those 2 guys played very, very well. And then, it's important to point out we're really doing a nice job up front. We're not giving up, running lanes that put our backers in a position where they can't go downhill and make some plays. So, but the front six, front seven did a pretty good job today.
Garrett Nussmeier had a big night with 409 yards, but he also had the 2 picks. So how would you sort of evaluate the two? How do you sort of balance out the two sides of that, of his performance today?
Yeah, I mean, we don't want any interceptions, but I think they're situational. The one right before the half, he tried to force the ball in there that we would have liked him to be much more prudent in dropping the ball down. The second interception, those are plays that he knows better. Like you're moving to the right, you have better options there. I think he probably got caught up a little bit in the game in that situation. It was late. We were up pretty big. I think in the right circumstances and situation, I'm not here to defend him for that because he knew that he needed to do a better job with the ball. I'm not here panicked about what happened tonight with the 2 interceptions. There are some where you go, oh my God. These were decisions that are easily correctable, and I'm not concerned about the 2 interceptions from that perspective.
Brian, is it safe to say, right straight back, that this is probably your most fundamentally sound game on defense? I mean, you talked about the front and kind of the contain that they did, but tackling, you got guys to the ground too.
Yeah, it was better. I mean, I think there are a couple plays, at our safety position where, we just have to be better, in getting out of our pedal and playing the 9 route. I think we need to be better there. I thought we missed a couple tackles, but overall, structurally, we're heading in the right direction. We thought we closed the gap last week. I think we'll continue to close the gap, and quite frankly, we have to, right? I mean, as we get into SEC play, the teams that we play they'll expose you if you don't. So we're making the progress necessary that we need to.
Just in the back.
Coach, earlier this week, you said that you can't replace Harold Perkins. What week steps up? His leadership, his energy, everything. What did you see from him tonight, especially flying all over the field?
Well, the energy, he changed the complexion of the game with the goal line stand. I don't know that that's going to put them back in the game, but I think it ended the game, for them in that situation. And they're just. Those are big plays that you don't see very often. Goal line stand plays like that where you bend somebody back, and that's a big quarterback. He's over 200, he's about almost 210 pounds. So, he's an outstanding football player. You pair him up with Penn, who's assignment correct. We put him in some tough situations, Greg, tonight too, where we had to cover a receiver on 2 or 3 occasions coming up underneath out of the backfield, and I told Blake a couple times, I go, you're a linebacker coach. You're a tough guy. I mean, you're asking him to do some things that I would never ask him to do that. And so those two pair up really well and kind of feed off each other.
Yeah, Coach, right here to your right. Just the next week, what does it kind of look like for you guys in terms of recovery and kind of the things you want to see during this bye week before, obviously, you guys prepare for all this?
Yeah, we're going to register all of our guys to vote on Monday. So a big voter registration day. Get their absentee ballots in and make sure that that's done. And then it's not really a recovery week. We're going to practice. We still have some real work to get done. We'll treat the second bye week as a recovery week. This will be a kind of a work week for us.
Chase.
Hey, Brian, just kind of a similar question to what was asked earlier, but just in the context of the defense not having Harold today, how did you guys kind of plug that hole? Like, what did you see in terms of you guys making changes to fill that absence?
We didn't. I mean, we played with our star position, so Major Burns played, at that position, and really kind of just rolled into a different structure. We didn't play Buffalo, which is the 3 linebackers, and just played Star, which we played earlier in the year. And so the biggest difference was that we were subbing in Whit Weeks, and he didn't sub in today. So aren't we smart? That fundamentally is really the only difference, is that you kept Penn and Whit Weeks on the field most of the game, if not the whole game, and then Burns and Kylan played a little bit at the Star as well. That was the configuration.
Coach, on Caden, that's 200 yards.
They're watching the Alabama-Georgia game in there. Obviously, Georgia came back and scored again or something. Who knows? It's like a track meet.
Back here, Coach.
Back, okay, so good. Whatever.
Coach, on Caden, that's 200 yards in the first half combined. It feels like 3 straight weeks he's really getting better and better. Just talk about kind of his growth since he kind of walked into the true freshman to where he is at this point in the year.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've done a really good job of putting him in a position to be successful, right? I mean, in the first play, we were expecting 3 deep and kind of that configuration. So I thought Joe Sloan did a great job of play calling in that situation to get him out, because there's a play we hadn't run before where we get him out on the perimeter, get him the ball, and I thought our receivers, the one thing that happened tonight, which I was really pleased with, guys were really working hard to block downfield and get guys, free. And you could see that commitment to, 11 guys working together. And look, we had a holding penalty on one, but they were working their tails off. And you had great blocks on that play. And then the rest he's just got elite speed. The run was a similar situation. They were in a configuration to stop our passing game. And as I said earlier in the year, we were worried about the run game, but we were getting loaded boxes. Now we're getting defensive structure that is trying to prevent the passing game, and it's giving us fair looks in the run game, and you saw what happened. And so he was the beneficiary of a pretty fair box in terms of run, and then he uses his elite speed.
We got time for 2 more, Corey.
Brian, through the first 5 games, how would you assess your safeties when they are asked to cover? And if there are things you feel like those guys need to work on before Ole Miss comes in, where do you guys sort of look?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an issue that we have to continue to evaluate, and who's the right group that should be on the field. And it's look, it's not like we're pressing them and putting them down on the line of scrimmage. I mean, I think we just have to be technically better, not necessarily ask somebody to do something that they can't do. We were 12 yards deep, and we were late getting out of our pedal. So the guys can play the position. They just have to be technically better. And then we're going to, Tuesday we're going to put the guys on the field that we think can win SEC games for us. So what's that rotation look like? As we've said, and we've talked about this, we've rolled a lot of guys in there. We get to 2 weeks from today, there's not going to be a lot of rolling. There's going to be guys that are going to be playing. So this has kind of been to try to get it on film and say these are the guys that should be starting.
3, last one.
5 left, Coach. We still haven't seen Chris Hilton. What is his status going into the bye week and then Ole Miss?
Yeah, again, I think this has been more about getting somebody that is at 100% than at 85, 90%. We could have had him out there tonight, but we want him at 100%. And there was no sense of getting him out there tonight. And we felt like we had enough firepower, and we want him at 100%. Thanks.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Brian Kelly, the head coach of the LSU Tigers, going there and saying a whole lot in the post-game press conference. I think for me, as they get ready to go into the bye week, like he said, kind of sustaining and keeping some of the momentum that they've built up going into this bye week instead of, just taking time off now. They have an opportunity to continue to build on that. What do you think, E?
I think so. Like we just said, I think he understands what he has on offense, what he has as a team. And now, like we just talked about with UL, they're about to get into the meat and potatoes of the SEC. And I know that he kept saying that people were like, what are you going to do in the bye? Rest. You ain't resting. We got Ole Miss coming in there after just losing to Kentucky. But at the same time, you know that you played a great game today, but it's not your best game. So what are we resting for? What did we do? And I agree with Brian Kelly with that. Like we didn't do anything. What did we do to rest? My guy just went out there and threw 39 passes and 2 interceptions to South Alabama. What are we sleeping for? We need to be woke up, like especially what we're about to see in these next couple of weeks. So I agree with Brian. He's going to put out there on Tuesday the best players that he thinks can help him win the SEC football games. I'm interested to see what he does.
Absolutely. As you see, they're running in our bottom ticker. Alabama survived Georgia. They originally were up 28-0. Georgia storms all the way back and goes ahead 33 or 30. Was it? Yeah, 34-33. Bama then turns around and throws a touchdown to freshman Ryan Williams. He scores a touchdown. They get a 2-point conversion. And then they get an interception there at the end of the game to close out a huge victory. We will talk more about that in our podcast episode, which will drop on Monday. That was a very interesting game, but we'll talk more about it then. We've been here on this stream for an hour. If you've been on the whole time, we appreciate each and every one of you guys. We thank you for our 2 new subscribers since we've been on. We've received 2 more subscriptions, so we're now at 73 subscribers on YouTube. If you're still on right now, at the top of that chat, go ahead and hit the link and subscribe. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, then just hit the bell that's right above you in this video and be able to continue to support us. We appreciate each and every one of y'all for hopping on for us. Another great live stream that we have. The Cajuns pick up a 3-point victory. LSU routes South Alabama. We'll talk about so much more sports as we get into the closing out the weekend and going into next week. And we will drop that in our 10th episode of the Fitz Take podcast. It's crazy that we're already at 10 episodes, brother.
No, man, it's been, this is a fun ride so far. Like you just said, I want to thank you guys for keep subscribing. Keep subscribing. It's just showing that our hard work isn't going unnoticed, man. I want to say thank you.
Absolutely. So with that, he's your guy, Elijah Nixon. I'm your boy, Jamarcus Fitzpatrick, but you always can call me Fitz. We appreciate y'all for tapping in with us once again, and we'll see y'all the next time.